Hey there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to a new Power Rankings video. Let's just jump right into it. Let's start with Tier 4, teams 25 to 32. This is a new bottom team in the foundation of trash, and that's the Houston Texans. Tom Savage out with a concussion. Hopkins had a great game too, but it wasn't enough. He can't carry the team. Jadeveon Clowney can't carry the defense as the secondary is absolutely putrid. And yeah, that's why the Texans are now 30. The Broncos at least won a game, but we'll see. I kept them below Indianapolis to indicate a deadlock that these two are about to go at it. But let's go to a team that's on the top. The team that the Texans lost to, the San Francisco 49ers. I gotta start giving them a little more credit. Jimmy G is really helpful right now. They went up from 28 to 25, only 3 spots, but that's because you beat a bottom team. But you know what? Jimmy G is getting a little better. He's not perfect right now, but you know what? He is in a good position, and he's giving the 49ers fans a reason for hope. Now just wait till you get Pierre Garçon back and the rest of your team back from IR next year. I will make the bold claim they may very well be a playoff contender come January of next year. And when I mean next year, I mean next season. But yeah, let's move on to Tier 3. Let's start from the top of the list, the Packers. Now, I've seen people put them higher, like into Tier 2, under 10. I haven't seen any higher than, a single-digit number. But some people putting them really high because Aaron Rodgers is probably coming back. However, I would stress this. First off, how many of those of that boost is because of Aaron Rodgers, and how much of that is from the Browns? Because if some people are overinflating, you beat the Browns. Oh, whoop-de-freaking-do. You want a cookie? No, go beat a real team. Don't go getting proud because you managed to beat a college football team pretty much, but way worse than that. Anyway, so I only moved them up from, let's see, 20 to 17. 1 spot just because you beat the Browns, but 2 spots because Aaron Rodgers is coming back. How effective he is, I don't know. But they're going to have a tough match in the Carolina Panthers, which I'll mention later. But going down, I really wanted to put the Jets lower, but yeah, because Josh McCown's down. I'm just not sure how far they could drop. And I want to see at least what Bryce Petty and Christian Hackenberg can do, because I know you saw how bad they were last year, but hey, they need to try them at some point just to see if there's any reason not to draft a quarterback. They probably should though, but we'll see. Another team, the Dolphins. I think they're tied for my highest riser, tied at 5, with the Jaguars, who both went up from 5 spots. The Dolphins got out of Tier 4 from 25 to 20, and the Jaguars went from 10 to 5. So, yeah, Dolphins, you beat the Patriots. Good job for you. Your season is actually still on the line. They are mathematically not eliminated. They need to win out. They win out all their games, they can get into the playoffs maybe. Just have to go hope that the Titans lose at least 3, lose all 3 games. You need the Titans to really screw the pooch on this one. But the Titans are not that far off from I would say, not just a chance at the division crown, but also, or just a wild card spot if they can't get that. But the Titans are in a position where they can't really mess it up at all. A little bit of credit to the Bills. I only moved them up 1 spot, but it's just because you beat the Colts, and I give credit, you did it with the backup quarterback, but LaShawn McCoy helped a lot for that. He literally ran that game. He ran in that snow, and that snow, running in snow is tough. And he ran in that snow it wasn't even there. Well, to the best of his ability. But great job for having McCoy. He's such a good player for them, but oh boy, I just don't know if the Bills can still win it out. I think they need 2 more wins. I think they have enough room for 1 more mistake. But I'm just not sure because you got to play the Patriots again. That's at home, mind you. That's very likely a loss. So, and you got to play the Dolphins over there. So if both teams are going to be fighting for that spot, and they may just cancel each other out. So that's kind of why they're also close to each other. And I can't really tell you who's better because they're so inconsistent. It's a coin flip at this point. But let's move on to Tier 2. Tier 2, starting from the bottom up, the Chiefs. finally you win something, so you went up 2 spots, but oh man, ugh, ay ay ay. This team is still such a mess. They could still get in. I mean, the only thing stopping them are the Chargers. If the Chargers complete the run, hashtag the run, they are going to lose the division. It is their division to lose right now. Even though the Raiders are still not even close to being eliminated, they're only a couple games behind. The Chargers and the Chiefs are clearly the two favored. The Raiders getting it would be an upset, but let's be real. Those two of these teams don't even look like they're fit for the playoffs, while the other one looks like they can maybe win the game. But speaking of the Chargers, the run's still going strong. He beat Washington. Now they have to play the Chiefs on Saturday, so that should be fun. And that is going to decide the division right there. That is very likely going to decide the division. And the Chargers still have that edge, but the Chargers may be, if they lose this game, they may have been put in a position that they could have avoided because they lost so many games to start the season. Those might bite them in the ass, but we'll see. I mean, you're not disappointing many people. You're only disappointing, 15 fans? Anyway, okay, so the Lions... okay, the Lions only went up 1 spot because of the similar reasons for other teams. You barely win a game. They're, the Lions are still mathematically in it. They could win out, go 10-6, but they still need help. They would need either the Seahawks or the Rams to lose at least 2 of their games. So whoever wins that game this week is going to you need to have them lose more. Basically, whoever's the loser of the Seahawks-Rams game this week, you Lions fans need to be fans of whatever team they're playing. So let's say, for example, the Rams lose that week. You're going to be an anti-Rams fan for the rest of the year. Not only that, you also need to be an anti-Falcons fan because I don't see the Panthers slipping up, and the Falcons have less room for error. Because if you tie with them, because if the Falcons get if they get 2 more wins, you're done. That's it. If the Falcons get 2 more wins, or if the Rams get to 11 wins, or the Seahawks get to 11 wins, you're done. Bye-bye. But knowing the Lions, they'll fuck it up on their own. At this rate, it feels like it's coming. I thought this was going to be the game. I didn't pick it, but when I was watching it, it's like, oh no, they're going to fuck it up, aren't they? They're this close to fucking it up with all those turnovers from both teams, but the Lions put themselves in that position. I don't know. I have a feeling they're going to choke at the Bengals game in a couple weeks, but we'll see. Anyway, Cowboys, good job for the Cowboys. They went up only 2 spots, but they're still mathematically in it. But really, it's a similar situation to the Lions, except this time the Cowboys also have to consider that the Lions need to lose games. So I have fun with that. But we'll see how that turns out in the future. Anyway, the team that you noticed, no doubt, because I'm talking a lot about Tier 2 because we're getting into that near playoff discussion time, and, the power rankings are going to end once we get to Week 16 and into the wild card round. That'll do. Once we're near the wild card round, that's going to be it for me. This season's over for the power rankings part of Football Talks. But anyway, the Eagles, man. Okay, you know what? Let me be transparent. I hate Eagles fans. I don't even like Philadelphia as a sports city. Well, I just don't like the fans of the sports. But to be fair, don't worry, guys. You're not alone. I don't hate you as much as I hate New York sports fans, and really, I'd say Lakers fans, a little bit of Dodgers fans, but I can't be too mad at the Dodgers fans because the Astros just beat them. But yeah, I don't like the Eagles. I never did, and I don't think I will. I will appreciate they have some really kick-ass uniforms though, but the football gods will never be appeased. They take away Carson Wentz, ruin a very good MVP caliber year. A really good run by the Eagles. I know you could say Nick Foles was a starter once. He can help us. I mean, sure, he might get you more wins because really, the Eagles need to get 1-2 games at most to win or secure home field advantage. But even that's not safe, as the Eagles can show throughout the years. They've never been safe at home. They're really one of those teams that is pretty good both on the road and at home. They're not like the Seahawks or the Saints, who are notorious for being difficult at home. You're not like one of those teams, but yeah. Sucks for Carson Wentz. I know some people put them down less. Like, I had them from 10. They're by far my biggest drop. 9 spots. I will tell you what. If the Eagles win and it looks good against the Giants this week, 'cause I think that's who they're playing, I'll move them back into at least. I'll try to put them at number 8 if I can, because I think that's fair. Because even though they're 12, that doesn't mean that they're frisky, like they're not a playoff team, because they are. They're talented enough to be a playoff team, but to be a Super Bowl contender, I don't feel like they're at that point at all anymore. They lost that point the minute they lost Carson Wentz. But hey, at least to tell you guys with the Eagles fans, it looks like you won with that trade. You gambled for Carson Wentz and it paid off. So good on you. Anyway, the next two teams, the two top contenders for the AFC right now, the hottest underdog teams, Chargers, Ravens. I already gave praise to the Chargers, so the Ravens, they just need to win a couple more games. Even though they lost to the Steelers, and as such, I just left them there. Mostly because, the Eagles had to fall down. But I feel like they're still going to make the playoffs at this rate. They have to fuck it up on their own. They got to lose games to, Cleveland. Like, if they lose this week to Cleveland, I don't think they deserve to win anything else that year. Let's go 7-9. In fact, I wish you would go 0-16, but yeah. Ravens look too good to avoid the playoffs. I say that now, but I might jinx it for them, but we'll see. But anyway, Falcons moved up a lot. Well, only 4 spots because they beat the Saints. Good on them. The Saints only dropped 1, but yeah, let's move on to the top 8. So you have the Panthers still at 8, even though they beat the Vikings. I wanted to put them above. I'm just unsure with Seattle and them. I feel like they're actually a lot more equal than they are. And that's why I kind of hope they play each other in the playoffs again. I just want to see. I can't tell you who's really better. On one hand, I like Russell Wilson over Cam Newton, but on the other hand, I like the Panthers, some of the Panthers pieces on offense, but I also like some of the Seattle's pieces on defense more. It's really just, it's a mess. Saints only dropped 1 spot. I feel like they're still pretty good for I would still want to say that they're still a Super Bowl contending team because Drew Brees is, Drew Brees. I just don't know what happened that week. He had a really bad game. TNF can go to hell. Nobody really likes it. I wish they just made a Saturday game instead, or just doubled up on Monday night. But they're never getting rid of it. Don't even try to fight it. I mean, you could voice your opinion on it, but just don't even try to fight it. Anyway, let's give some credit. Jags. Where's Jags fan? Jags fan in the comments. He's been missing. He's MIA. Someone form a search party. Find him. I want to see how happy he is because I got the Jaguars at number 5. Now, I know he might not actually be happy. He'd say, why aren't they number 1? Well, first off, they don't have... I wouldn't say they have a great quarterback still. I mean, he's playing better. But, again, let's see how you are come playoff time, because the Jags are a shoo-in for the playoffs at this point. I think they just need one more win and they clinch. They can clinch the division, I believe, if they win today, or if they win this week, and the Titans lose at the same time. If that happens, I think they've won the division already. I'm not sure. But yeah, Jags defense still playing pretty good. But again, we're going to see what they do against a higher contending offense. 'Cause I feel like the Steelers aren't the same old Steelers from last time. I think they will hang in there a little more. But speaking of the Steelers, they are now the number 1 team. But to be honest, that could easily fall because the Patriots are hot on their heels. Even though the Patriots lost to the Dolphins, I never want to count the Patriots down for too long unless it was something really bad. But Gronk's coming back too, so that should help them out. The Vikings, I just dropped them 1 spot. They lost to the Panthers, but I still feel like the Vikings are a great team, and especially if they secure home field advantage, watch out. The neo-purple people eaters are going to go to town on whatever quarterback they're going up against. They are still, to me, the best defense in the NFC. Rams, by the way, I know they lost, but I didn't. The only reason they didn't really drop is because the other teams lost. Like, the Vikings lost, the Patriots lost. And I was contemplating whether the Jags should move up to 4, but I figured, nah, that's right. That's good right there. I mean, the Jags need to win another game, and I think they might very well be a top 3 team if the Steelers lose or if the Vikings lose, or both. But either way, that'll do it for here. Let's move on to the 5 games to note this week. 5 games that'll shape up the power rankings, that can shake it up, really. And let's get started with the first game, the Saturday game, Chargers-Chiefs. I think this is the game that's going to decide this division. To me, it was going into the season the best division in football this year. And to be honest, it could still prove itself. If this game is as entertaining as I hope it is, we may be in for a treat. I don't know. We'll see. My second game for you guys, the Packers-Panthers. This is Aaron Rodgers' possible return. I think he's going to come out because he needs to save this team, despite what he says. The Packers can make a run. Like, if they win out, they can get in. I think especially if the Vikings lose 2 games. If the Vikings lose to either the Bengals or the Bears, which I feel like it's very unlikely, but if they somehow did, the Packers could still win the division. If they win out all their games and go 10-6, they still have a chance. Mind you, they'll still need every much of help as like the Lions and the Cowboys would, but they're still in it. They're not out. And really, Aaron Rodgers can do the run. You've seen him do that shit many times before. But here's the thing. They're going up against the Panthers and then the Vikings. The good news is you get to play the Vikings at home this time, so the crowd's on your side. But, oh man, if they can come out of that, and he really is a legendary quarterback. But anyway, let's move on to the third game. This one's a bit of a curveball for some of you. I'm going to go Dolphins-Bills. They're playing each other. That's why I had them really close to each other. This time the Dolphins are going to Buffalo. Maybe if it's too cold, Dominican Sue will want to leave. He's like, nah, I don't want to be in Detroit. It's too cold. But I know you don't want to go to Buffalo. But anyway, this game, these two might kill each other. Like, if one team... Here's the thing. Whoever wins this game absolutely has to win the next one. These two teams are in a position where they can't really fuck up. More so on the Dolphins. If the Dolphins lose one more game, their season is practically over. But honestly, I think that there's no real chance that either of these two teams are going to get in. Well, if there's a chance, Buffalo needs to prove it because Buffalo looks like the more likely team, but we'll see. My next game is going to be Rams Seahawks, the all-out war for the NFC. I think this is the last big game between NFC Titans. No pun to the Tennessee Titans, but these two also. This is another game that'll decide the division for the West too, the NFC side of the West. But I have the Seahawks winning this one. I think it's going to be close. Also, I should have mentioned the Chargers are going to be my pick against the Chiefs as my upset of the week. So have fun with that. But, okay, I think if the Seahawks win, I really don't know how high they can go. On one hand, I feel like with Russell Wilson, they could be at best a title game contender. But if they lose this game, their season is actually in jeopardy. They missed the playoffs for the first time in a few years, and it feels like the Patriots have always been in the playoffs, but I'm still a little worried on the Seahawks, but I just know the Seahawks play the Rams close every time, so this should be an interesting game. And finally, my last game. You knew this one was going to be here. The top two teams going at it. We seem to have a knack for that. The top two teams always going at each other. Here we have the Steelers and the Patriots. The Patriots go into Heinz Field. One of Tom Brady's favorite playgrounds. If the Patriots need to reestablish that they are for real AFC team and that this is their conference to lose, they'll win here. But if the Steelers win, the Steelers should probably have locked up home field advantage. This is going. I don't know. This will either be remembered as the Patriots game that they lost, or the biggest Steelers win in the regular season in so many years. Like, you don't even know. But we'll see. Anyway, there you go. You got your 5 games. You got Chargers, Chiefs, Packers, Panthers, Bills, Dolphins, Rams, Seahawks, and Patriots, Steelers. Should be a good slate of games. We're coming down to the end. We're coming down to the wire. We've got one more season or one more week of football before the finale. So we're almost near the penultimate part of the regular season. So still, it feels like there's a lot more football to be played. And then before you know it, we'll be in the postseason. But of course, I won't be here to talk about power rankings for that because, we only have 8 teams to talk about. I don't know if you guys want to see that, my opinion on the 8 teams and how far I think they can go. Put in the comments. Say you want to hear me talk about the 8 teams that get in once the playoffs are all locked in. I can do that. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. I will see you guys in another one.